a lot is made about intelligence um, from a very young age. We are evaluated in school, and there's a lot of emphasis placed on our grades and the idea that how well we do in school will determine our chances in the future in terms of getting a job and all the things that come with that. And there's this idea that some people are just naturally more intelligent than others, but if we really let's investigate this idea of intelligence. I mean, is it really true that some people are naturally more intelligent than others? Your body is made up of billions of cells that work together to allow you to function. And when you think about that, it's pretty amazing. Your cells are capable of maintaining your body heat at a acceptable within an acceptable range. Your body lets you know when it's time to eat. It allows you to move around. It tells you when it's time to sleep, when you're thirsty. It's capable of interpreting massive amounts of information from your environment and filtering that into your perception. So, from that perspective, everybody is equally intelligent. In terms of, we just have these incredible bodies that just can do these amazing things without even us always really being present to direct what's going on. You breathe thousands and thousands of breaths, and you're not even aware of them, but your body is this incredibly complex machine that does a lot of things for you that we tend to take for granted. But when we're all babies, like, none of us know how to read or to write or how to use a computer or anything like that, but these are skills that we are taught in school and learn as we grow up. We learn from our parents and teachers, and we learn from watching our peers and what they do. And education and environment have a lot to do with the development of more refined skills, the things that we tend to label as characteristics of intelligence. But and then these skills will go on to go on to make some people doctors and others teachers, and then some people are lowly garbage men or janitors or don't even have a job at all. And we tend to sort of place this higher value on those who we deem more intelligent. And I'd like to take a look at how much we take for granted and what creates this stratification between those who are paid very well in your doctors and your politicians and your lawyers and what have you. What goes into these so-called intelligent, more intelligent beings being paid a whole lot more than the more than half the world who's sort of struggling to get by. And further, where do we get off? Where do we get off saying so the haves and the have-nots is just sort of a natural order of things, and it's just the way things go in this world, because some people are just naturally more intelligent than others. And there's a lot of people who aren't necessarily well paid in this world, who don't necessarily have all the opportunities afforded to somebody with lots and lots of money, who will nonetheless accept the idea that some people are more intelligent than them, and so deserve more money than them. And I'd like to take a look at the idea that, or the processes which go into creating highly educated people. First off, you have to be born into relative wealth to even have access to these schools, which are going to train you to be an effective individual, where you can get a high-paying job. So does that mean that the child who is born into destitution and poverty and doesn't have access to a school with good teachers and up-to-date textbooks and access to technology, which is required in so many jobs, high-paying jobs today, is that child, that poor child, necessarily any less inherently capable of what a child born into a different situation, where he does have access to the means to create skills which will allow him to go far in life? Is it true that every poor child is inherently less intelligent than a child who is born into relative wealth? I don't think so. I don't think that's true. And I'd even go so far as to say that within a relatively wealthy society, those children who get the highest grades and get into the best colleges and are hired into the best jobs I'd go so far as to say that even those children with even those children are not born with an inherent capability of that's any higher than the kids who go to the same schools and have the same opportunities theoretically, but just don't thrive in the educational environment. I'd say that even the very cream of the crop of our society, those who find themselves as CEOs or doctors or politicians, I'd say that they don't have any capabilities that the majority of us don't have. And I'm speaking as somebody who was usually at the top of my class and did get accepted into some of the best colleges in the world, and did really well on my standardized tests, did really well on the SATs, and I'd say that I heard it a lot that oh, you're so smart, like you're just so talented naturally, like you're just so smart. And I'd like to debunk the idea that a very small percentage of the world is somehow naturally more intelligent than everybody else. I was brought up, I was read to a lot. I was born into a family of teachers, so the people around me understood education to some degree, and they were able to provide me with the tools to become somebody who could learn how to get by in the system. Basically, that's how I got good grades and got into a good college. First off, I was like forced to do my homework, and secondly, I was given the tools to be able to do my homework, and that was as much a matter of my environment and my upbringing and the access to resources that my family enjoyed than any inherent, genetic built-in intelligence that I somehow was blessed with. No. Intelligence is directly an effect of your environment and your upbringing. And so what does that imply about our society? I think it says that, the fact that more than half the world doesn't have access to the same level of education that a minority has, that's not cool. Like that's saying, that implies that there's systems in place which elevate a few people, while most people aren't given the same tools and the same opportunities. And so that's something that we all allow, and it's simply not true that those who are given these resources and tools are naturally more intelligent than the rest of the world. No, it's a matter of resources and access, and that's something that we allow in our education system, and in deciding to allow a system in which some people have enough money to be able to afford to send their kids to college, and everyone else can't do that, or they have to take out loans, huge loans, that they might not pay back in their life, or that they will be paying back for a long time, and that necessarily holds them back financially from generating enough financial resources to afford them the same opportunities that others may have, simply because they're not born into a situation where they have enough money to go as far as the system will allow them to go. So we can change this, and don't sell yourself short by accepting the idea that the elite of this world are somehow more intelligent and hardworking and or spiritually blessed for some reason, and that's why they have the things that they have. That's not true, and don't allow yourself to believe something like that, because it's exactly these sorts of self-limiting beliefs which stop us from saying we don't accept a system like this, that stop us from saying we can work together to implement a new system which allows access to the best education, training and technology, work skills that are required to succeed in this world. We can work together and make sure that everybody has an equal opportunity to go as far as their natural intelligence will allow them. And that natural intelligence is something which we as humans, as pretty much all possessing the same natural capacity for intelligence, just based on the way that our bodies are designed as these superb organisms. Education should be a right that everybody equally has, so they have a chance to express themselves to the fullest, because we only have one life, and to say that some are allowed a better life than others simply because they have access to the resources that would allow them to develop the skills to succeed in this world, while others are denied the same right. That's not something that we have to allow, and it's not something that should stand in this world. So as a first measure, I'd say that we have generated enough wealth through the gifts of capitalism that we can guarantee a living income for every man, woman, and child, so that no man, woman, or child is ever denied access to the basic tools in order to develop themselves to be the best humans that they can be. And so I'd encourage you, if this is something that interests you, to investigate the living income guaranteed proposal to eradicate poverty and to no longer deny access to the right to education for everyone. Thanks.